God's love is an amazing topic to discuss, and there's so many ways to describe it. God's love is amazing and wonderful and boundless and uncommon. But today we want to talk about how God's love is active. Hi everyone, and welcome to Beyond the Sermon, our weekly series where we unpack our Sunday sermon just a little further so we can learn, grow, and go deeper with Jesus. My name is Derek. I'm the online pastor here at Southport Heights, and today, like I said, we're talking about God's love being active. Now, Pastor Steve concluded our sermon series called Uncommon Love this week, and he talked about how God's love is a boundless love, and he described it in various ways. It's audacious, it's available, and things like that. But he said that God's love is active. Now, to me, active means there's something involved, something's happening, something's going on. And we jumped into the Greek word behind the word love in a lot of situations. And that Greek word that he gave was Agapaeo. Agapaeo. Now, I'm probably butchering the pronunciation, so forgive me, but Agapaeo is the word that's used in John 3:16. For God so loved the world. Okay, it's Agapaeo. Now, why is that important? Because Agapaeo is a verb. And a verb, from your English when you were little kids, a verb is an action word. Something's happening. Like if I ran down the street, ran is the verb. Something's happening, all right? Now, there's another word in Greek that we use for love. Actually, there are multiple words because in English we have one word, it's love. You know, I love my wife, I love my dog, I love pizza. It's all the same. But in Greek they have multiple words. Another word is agape. Now, maybe you've heard agape before and we think, oh, that's great. Well, agape is similar to agapao, but it is a noun. It is a person, place, or thing. So it's a noun, all right? Now, why is this important? Why does it matter what is a verb and what is a noun? Well, if something's a verb, that means there's action within it. For example, Psalm chapter 23. It's very familiar. We read it in a lot of different situations. The Lord is my shepherd. We know that, right? Well, the word shepherd there is a verb. So there's action involved when he's our shepherd. You could say the Lord is shepherding me. And then you can figure out what does it mean for somebody to shepherd someone. And there's all that involved. So being a verb really is important because it's active. And like I said, the term for God so loved the world involved action. It was a verb. And that means that something had to take place. And it did. For God so loved the world that he gave. That he did something about it. Throughout Scripture, Jesus is described as being moved with compassion. He had so much compassion. It wasn't just like he's like, I love them, that's nice. No, he had so much compassion that it moved him, that he did something about it. And that's what God's love does. God's love is so intense that it moves him to do something. And in this case, we're talking about him giving his one and only Son. And I think what we need to realize is that God's love has an effect on us, or at least it should have an effect on us. Think about it this way. God's love, his active love, activates us to have active love as well. At least it should, shouldn't it? We should have the love of God flow through us so that it bursts out onto God and onto others. The love of God and the love of people. We should have active love. We should have a verb kind of love. That's what we should have. We should go to people and love one another and love our neighbor and love God and be active in what we're doing. Because if God's love was so great that he gave his one and only Son, then that is the love that flows from him to us. Which is a challenge then to say, hey, how am I showcasing God's active love in my life? How are you showing the people around you God's active love? I'm not talking about a checklist of items. I went to church, I read my Bible, I prayed, boom, 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 I feel good. That's not that kind of love. You don't think about this for a second. I don't think God checked off a box when he gave his one and only Son. That's not how it worked. It was something that he gave of himself. It wasn't about money. It wasn't about pride. It wasn't about any of that. It was giving of himself. Because he had an active, intense love for you and for me. So today I want you to think about that. I want you to think how God's love is active. And if it is active, if it is a verb, for God so loved, if it is a verb, then I want you to think what that means. One last thought. God is described as love in the Bible. He says that God is love. Well, that word, love there, it's a verb. God isn't a noun. God is a verb because God is active in my life in your life and in all the people around us. God is an active God, and God has some active love. Hey, if you enjoyed this today and you'd like to hear the full sermon called Boundless Love, just visit southportheights.church/media. There you can hear this sermon along with all of our others. Just visit southportheights.church/media. Thanks for watching. My name is Derek, and I look forward to joining you next time as we go beyond the sermon.